Addressing technology-facilitated gender-based violence against women requires a multifaceted approach that acknowledged the complexities of technology's role in perpetuating such forms of violence. In a nutshell, we can define technology-facilitated gender-based violence as any form of gender-based violence that involves the use of digital technologies. It has proliferated in the last years, with a special peak during the COVID-19 pandemic due to the fact that the majority of activities shifted online. Although we can define that as a new form of gender-based violence, it exists on the continuum of gender-based violence, and it is often enacted in tandem with other forms of violence. To sum up, acts of online violence against women are an extension of the same acts carried out offline, with some specific characteristics in terms of harms and perception we will define hereafter, such as the fact that the abuser acts under the cloak of anonymity, that there is no need for physical proximity to enact this violence, as it is in traditional gender-based violence. And this means that it becomes impossible for victims to escape it even when at home, if the violence is occurring on social media. The abusive content can be copied and diffused very easily and quickly. It can go viral, and the digital footprint is hard to erase online. There are actually very numerous types of technology-enabled gender-based violence, which we will now mention and define. Nevertheless, this list is in no way meant to be exhaustive of all forms of online abuse against women, as they are steadily evolving. Generally speaking, digital harassment is an umbrella term that includes a variety of unwanted digital communications. It can be acted by a single person, such as an ex-partner, an online stalker, a person known in real or digital life, or by strangers. It is very important to remember that the starting point of such episodes might look harmless. Consider this example. Sarah receives a friend request on a social media from an unfamiliar account named Anonymous User 123. Anonymous User says, "Hey there, Sarah, you're looking stunning in your profile picture. How about we chat sometime?" And Sarah responds, "Thanks for the compliment, but I prefer to keep my social circle limited to people I know personally." And again, he says, "Hey, don't be shy. I just wanted to get to know you better. You can trust me." And Sarah replies, "I appreciate your interest, but I'm not comfortable interacting with strangers online. Please respect my boundaries." But he insists, "Oh, come on, you're being uptight. I just want to be friends. Why are you being so rude?" In this realistic scenario of digital harassment, Sarah demonstrates assertiveness and boundary setting in response to online harassment. By clearly communicating her discomfort, establishing boundaries, she asserts control over her online interaction and safeguards her well-being. It's essential for victims of online harassment to trust their instincts, prioritize self-care, and reach out for support from trusted resources, such as helplines, online safety guides, or support groups, to navigate challenging situations effectively. Virtual rape, also known as digital rape or cyber sexual assault, refers to the use of virtual reality environments, online games, or social media platforms to simulate or depict sexual violence against an individual's avatar or their digital representation without consent. This form of digital violence blurs the line between fantasy and reality, inflicting psychological harm and trauma on the victim. Another large variety of forms of technology-facilitated gender-based violence can be grouped under the category of image-based sexual abuse. Maybe you have heard about the non-consensual distribution of intimate images, the so-called revenge porn. The images are often distributed by an ex-partner who may have been consensually in possession of the images during a previous intimate relationship. Another form of it is sexting coercion, which involves the manipulative use of explicit messages images or videos to coerce, pressure, or blackmail individuals into engaging in sexting activities against their will. Perpetrators may leverage intimate content shared consensually to exert control, threaten exposure, or demand further explicit material, leading to emotional distress and exploitation. In this case, the images have potentially been taken previously in agreement within the couple. The problem here is the use of them against the victim's will to pressure her. This kind of images can go viral on social media and cause profound discomfort to the victim survivor, leading up to suicidal intents. It is important to point out that if you receive this kind of images and you not delete them, you are legally responsible. In fact, the abuse does not stop with the first person who distributes the images without consent, but all those involved in the chain of distribution, those who redistribute, view, or otherwise engage with these images once they have been initially shared, are also participating in the abuse. Sadly, viewing, sharing, and commenting such images is intended by some people as a form of camaraderie, and it is quite normalized in society, but it is neither funny nor a joke, it is an abuse. Another way to harass online is through public disclosure of private information. The most popular version of such a violence is doxing, and it entails the malicious act of publicly disclosing individuals' private or sensitive information, such as home address, contact details, financial data, without consent. Perpetrators engage in doxing to intimidate, shame, incite harassment against the victim, jeopardizing their safety and privacy. In general, many forms of technology-facilitated gender-based violence are still not understood to actually be violence at all by the wider public. There is a general belief that online abuse is less harmful than an abuse that happens in the physical world, while the psychological impact of such abuses can be extremely strong. In response to the escalating threat of technology-facilitated gender-based violence, legal frameworks have begun to evolve, which will be discussed in a later moment of this course. Just to give you a hint of the legal avenues available for pursuing such cases, we can mention the cybercrime legislation and the data protection law to safeguard individuals' online privacy and personal information. Looking at technology-facilitated gender-based violence from a global perspective, and according to a UN Women report, approximately 73% of women have experienced online violence, harassment, or abuse globally. If these are the figures, it is crucial to continue advocating for data collection, research, and policy measures that prioritize the safety, well-being, and rights of all individuals, irrespectively of their gender. By fostering a culture of digital respect, empowerment, and accountability, societies can fight against technology-enabled violence to create a more equitable and secure online environment for women and marginalized communities across the globe.